Check, check, 1 2 1 2. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I am the colorful colored Republican, and we have a great show for you guys today. Today, we're going to be talking about the 2024 election. We're going to talk about the news in December, early part of December, and we're going to get started off with Kamala Harris's election. She had 107 days to be a candidate. She didn't have any primary, so she didn't have any ideas of what to hash out what the Democratic Party wanted. She didn't even want to be president. She was the vice president. She was very happy being the vice president. But when you have the Democratic Party come to you and their leadership saying, you know what, we're not getting anything from the mega donors, they literally took away all the donations for the month of July, and they demanded that that Joe Biden not run. He needed to withdraw his name. And when they finally got that done, they needed somebody to, as far as be the heir apparent. And of course, naturally, she was selected because, you see, Biden had been preparing this for the entire time. So, if the only way for her to receive that funding, because her name's on the ticket as well, is if she were to be running. So, for the money that they accumulated, as far as the infrastructure, everything was made for Biden. But since she was included, she definitely had an advantage in that aspect. But 107 days to run any election is not enough, and you're starting from zero in the middle of the election. But of course, that first month of August, I believe within a couple of days, they received $100 million, which is an absolute record. She accumulated over $1 billion in campaign funds for the entire election. So she did not, as far as need extra funds or anything like that. She definitely was well funded in that aspect. But the she wasn't well received. And it goes back to 2020. When she originally came to the scene, as far as the federal level, people didn't like her as a candidate, and it showed in the 2020 election. She didn't even make it to Iowa. She doesn't have many ideas. She can't think, on her feet, and all she has to go to is racism, sexism, and xenophobia. And America was tired of that. And of course, they're tired of a sleepy Joe. So, her being part of his administration, her being lockstep as far as everything he wanted to do, she never spoke up against him. She never said, it's time for a new chapter. She's the one saying that, what, he's as smart as a whip, and lo and behold, he go ahead and withdraws his name, and of course the rest is history. But this lets you, at least this tells you, it's going to be a cautionary tale for anyone, especially Democrats, because they're the only ones that actually do things like this. That don't do this, okay? If you want a candidate, do it the right way. Get in a primary, see what the people want, select this person, and then go ahead and run your election. Doing it this way right here, trying to do a backdoor deal here, it doesn't prove anything. And thank goodness she didn't win, because it would have been totally improper. And any Republican leadership could have definitely brought it up against the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court probably would have shut it down. But definitely was totally improper. And now they're second guessing themselves. They probably should have left Biden in there, and he would have lost. More than likely, he would have lost, because you would have just been playing chicken with the mega donors and telling them, look, hey, if you're not giving us this money, you're giving this to Donald Trump. They were all hot and bothered by that first debate that Trump had with Biden, and all it was a knee-jerk reaction. I mean, you have people like Ronald Reagan, you had Obama, and both of these people, they're charming and they're witty, and they can think on their feet, and they had bad debates. And what did they do? Just had another debate. It's it definitely takes some practice in this thing, especially even if you are a good speaker and Biden is not. It does take a couple, get your feet wet a little bit and see what's going on. But of course, the first one with Ronald Reagan, they were questioning his age, because he was the oldest president at the time, and he rebounded and had a great reelection bid. Obama, on the other hand, was a lot younger, so the Democratic Party was definitely surprised when he had a bad debate. But again, what happened? You don't quit on your guy. This is the person you select. You put him out there again, and then he did very, very well. I I think Biden could have done better if he had was better prepared. Um, his age was definitely a factor, but if that were the case, if that were what you guys were noticing, you would have got an heir apparent back in 2022. That didn't happen, um, and that's when I think it's 2022. I believe is when uh, Marjorie Taylor Greene was actually saying this. She was actually doing the Democrats a favor by telling them, "Look, Biden, has lost his fastball. Something's wrong with him." And if they would have been like noticing it, they would have probably had him resign back then. Kamala Harris would have been the first woman president, and she could have been going for a reelection. That would have been a lot better. But you know what? Hindsight is 2020. Thank goodness we don't have Kamala Harris, and now we have all these world leaders. They're just approaching Donald Trump. I mean, if it's not Elon Musk, if it's not the Mexican president, if it's not the Prime Minister of Canada, we have everyone approaching Trump. He's definitely the new flavor of the month. But now he's the the world leader again that we definitely need. And if people are not too happy about that, because Trump's going to be Trump. And one of the things that he did and said was, you know what, Canada, Mexico, and China, you guys you're gonna pay. You're gonna pay 25% tariffs, and Canada, Canada and Mexico, you guys definitely need to help us with our immigration problem. So our problem just became your problem, and you know what? Absolutely, we have Mexico and Canada receiving 100 and roughly 100 billion. I'm sorry. 100 billion and 300 billion dollars from us, and this is absolutely insanity. I mean, we don't have enough money for our people here, and we're giving it to other countries in forms of as far as bartering for their goods and services. And no, Trump says no more. You guys are going to help us with our immigration, and if you don't, we're going to give you a tariff, a 25% tariff. And Democrats say, either out of ignorance or just they hate from Trump, saying that, oh, that's going to inflate prices. You know what? Actually, it's not going to, because you see, the cheap labor comes from China and it comes from Mexico, and they have a certain profit margin, just like anybody has. And the American companies that they compete with have, as far as the cost of labor is a lot higher, obviously, and the American businesses, their products are more expensive than the ones from China and from Mexico, obviously. But it'll be a little bit more even playing field if you put tariffs on Mexico, China, Canada, and what's that gonna leave is gonna leave definitely a void, because if we can buy from American businesses, shouldn't we? Shouldn't we buy from American businesses? Oh no, you can get it cheaper from China. Okay, we're not going to help China businessmen get rich. If anybody's going to help anybody, we're going to help our own people first. It blows my mind that Trump saying America first policy was rejected. The first time around and the second time around, and still to this day, you would think he should have won by a bigger margin, I believe. But it just lets you know how, as far as the Democratic Party and their mob tactics and groupthink, that they just, if you're not part of us, you're against us, and they definitely ostracize you if you have a different opinion than them. So obviously, thinking is not part of what they do well, and you can tell it's so evident now, because now that Biden has lost, you have people from SNL making parody jokes on Biden. They didn't do anything for the first 3.5 years. And now, oh, wait a minute, Biden's gone? Okay, we can make fun of him now. You have Democrats never were critical of Biden. He had definitely kid gloves the entire time. Oh, now he's lost. Oh, wait a minute. We have a problem with him partying in the sun. Oh, wait a minute. We have a problem with him giving Ukraine $60 billion on the month of December, and he's what, a month away from being out of the presidency. And so now they definitely have opinion now. But this is what Democratic Party is. It's just definitely a groupthink mentality. It's a mob mentality. If you disagree with what I say, you're either sexist, racist, or a xenophobe. This is what they've been trying to peddle since 2008, and they've been successful up to this point, up to 2016. And Trump was definitely a breath of fresh air. I still remember when Trump said what he said about Mexicans, and my Republican friends approached me about it because I was Latino, and I was like, the guy's not wrong. I mean, if you want to see Telemundo and Univision on what they say, they report those crimes all the time. And you would think like, man, is that the only thing happening in Mexico? That's the only news you can report right now? And I wasn't offended at all. I'm like, well, you're not saying anything that we don't know already. But the cancel culture definitely popped in, and they demanded an apology from Trump. And Trump was like, no, I'm not going to apologize. If anything, I'm going to double down and tell you everything else. And everyone, was definitely taken aback from it. Brexit came because of it, but we needed somebody. We needed a trailblazer. Somebody had to take all the zeros, and it was definitely Trump. And by Trump winning that first election, it opened the door for everyone else. But lo and behold, I thought the liberal media, because their ratings ballooned 300% from the first term of Trump. It was Trump all the time. There's not a lot of ratings in news and politics, but for that first term of Trump's presidency, it's just it went out of control, and all these people were getting paid, and it was Trump all the time. Oh, wait a minute, Trump's doing this. Trump got some ice cream. He got 2 scoops of ice cream. Wait a minute, what's going on over here? So every little thing was just definitely hypercritical from the media, and they were rewarding from it because the liberals loved it, the Republicans loved it, and we were staying tuned. It was kind of like a Truman Show with Trump in 2016. And I thought them thinking like, you know what, we can't give up the cash cow. We're going to go ahead and pivot and, say Trump, he's not that bad. Trump's, give him another chance, see what he does. And I thought, they were going to go ahead and set up Trump for success, but they didn't. They did exactly what what the liberal media always does. And as a result of that, we have the economy that we have right now, but the liberal media definitely was affected by it because you see liberals, they don't rate well anyway, amongst their own people. And when Trump was gone, they didn't have anything to cry about. So what happened? Their ratings cratered. They tried talking about Trump after he was gone for about maybe 6 months. And people were like, they stopped tuning in, like, what? Why are you talking about Trump? Trump's not even president anymore. I don't care about Trump anymore. And then the liberals weren't watching their show anymore at all. And a lot of people got fired. A lot of Don Lemon, that you're one of them. And that's definitely a result of what happened. And you would think, okay, wait a minute. They're going to change your tune again. Hey, you know what? Let's get Trump in there again. No, but they're not going to do that. No, they're going to go and they're going to hate Trump again. They hate him. They don't even know why. This man was living in New York since the 70s, all throughout 2000s, has his own show. And lo and behold, he runs, but he's a Republican. And now, oh no, wait a minute. He's Hitler now. He's Hitler now, just because he's Republican. And people don't see that. If this was actually true, this would have came out decades before this, but it never did. Donald Trump was well received. Donald Trump was actually giving money to liberal candidates. And early on in his career, of course, he turned Republican afterwards. But the liberal media, you're Republican, red? No. Red means no. It's like a bull for them. They just attack red no matter what. And, of course, they did it with Bush, too. It wasn't like it was all good before that. They were calling George W. Bush Hitler long before Trump. So it's just the next Republican candidate. And you know what? In 4 years, they're going to do the same thing again. So lo and behold, you just wait and see that's going to happen. But, the tariffs, going back, circling back to the tariffs, it's a good strategy because we're going to get them talking, get them to see what they're going to do. The Remain in Mexico policies are going to go back in effect. The 93 executive orders, and not only that, but different things also are going to come back just from Mexico alone. And we're going to copy, that to help with Canada because we have problems in Canada too. They're not all roses over there in Canada. So they're definitely going to help also because if we're going to pay something, we're going to get something out of it. And if you're not going to help us, hey, that money can go away easily. And that's what Trump's going to do. And of course, world leaders are not going to have to. They're not going to accept that. They're not going to like that. And they're going to keep on, crying until they meet with Trump. Like, oh no, Mr. Trump, why don't we do something different? Oh, sure, no problem, no problem. But you know what? There has been a certain change. People like Stephen A. Smith has throughout this election, he surprised me a little bit. He's been riding the fence a little bit. I'm voting for Kamala. I'm voting for Kamala, Stephen A. Smith saying. And then, slowly but surely throughout the election, he starts sympathizing with Trump. And that's where it starts with, when you start seeing your political opponent as a human being instead of a monster, you start listening to what they're saying instead of reacting to what can be perceived, and Stephen A. was doing that. And Stephen A. said everything basically except that I endorsed Trump. Basically, it was that bad as far as how hard he was lobbying for this man, and knowing that in this election, I believe it was like 3 out of 4 black men voted for Kamala Harris. So he was playing a dangerous game, riding a slippery slope. But to his credit, he stuck to his guns. And now, now that Trump's elected, what does Stephen A. do? Oh, wait a minute. Look what we have over here. I don't even know why Stephen A. is still talking about politics. The election's over with. But he's talking about, what did he say? Trump only selected one black candidate. He only has one black selection made for his cabinet. So, I mean, okay. Only 76% of black males voted for Kamala Harris. I believe it was 85% black women voted for Kamala Harris. And you want me to do what now? I mean, come on. If anybody should be mad, I should be mad. I mean, the Latino support for Trump, it just every 4 years has been going up and up. The liberal media, like I said, they've been trying to demonize this man since 2016, and it never worked. In the first term, he had 26% support from the Latino community, and then 2020 it went up to 32%, and now in this election it went up to 46% for Latinos as a whole. So definitely the legacy media is not working anymore at all. And we're going to say Latinos are racist now. Well, wait a minute. They've been here this entire time. The Latinos are the largest minority population since the 1990s. But no, wait a minute. They're racist too. That's why they went away with that strategy, because it wasn't only Latinos. It was blacks as well. So you have blacks and Latinos in places like Chicago and New York City complaining about the illegal migrants crisis. All these monies that they have reserved for their people, for American citizens, was given up to these people. These people can't vote. They literally just showed up the other day, and now they're taking up our money, time, resources, and schools. It definitely wasn't right, and a lot of people were opening their eyes to that, and that's how you start swaying some votes. And definitely a shout out to the black males. I mean, I know we only got about 24%. But before that, I mean, I think Trump, the first go around, Trump only got 9%. It was 9% the first time, 12% the second time, and look, 26%, 24% the third time around. So definitely, we're changing the hearts and minds out there. And so the mainstream media, you're a dinosaur. You're a dinosaur. People out there doing podcasts, people doing YouTube and social media, they're where it's at, because these are real human beings and they have real opinions, and they're not, they don't have, they don't have different motives to say what they say. They don't have, oh no, wait a minute, I'm going to just go ahead and say this because it'll give me this. And, come on. You got people like Whoopi Goldberg saying she's a working girl. She's worth like $55 million. Come on, man. Don't be acting like, you're grinding every single day. you have a talk show for a couple hours and that's it. You're doing that because you want to, and because the money's so gravy. So please, cry me a river over here. But liberals are definitely changing their minds, and one of them was definitely Elon Musk. Elon Musk will tell you in 2020 he voted for Biden, and it definitely the assassination attempt on Trump the first time around, it definitely changed a lot of hearts and mind, and even Mark Zuckerberg said it changed him a little bit, but definitely for Elon Musk, and he openly said it that he was supporting Donald Trump, which was oh my. I can't believe he still did it. I mean, and of course the liberal media did what they normally do. They didn't say anything against Elon Musk before that. He's the richest man in the world, Craig, and he had no problem with him until he endorsed Trump. And then what happened? They started demonizing him as well. And of course, a lot of people were, falling in line, hook, line, and sinker. And Elon Musk doesn't care about that. He already made his money. He makes more money in the world that he can spend. All right, he's not worried about that. He actually followed his value system, and now he's going to actually, one of the most valuable resources you have is time. He's going to take the time, him, a trillionaire, and Vivek Ramaswamy, a billionaire, they're going to take their time to do the Department of Government Efficiency. And they were looking at the books already, and they met with Republican leadership. And these guys, you know what they said? They said they can actually save us $2 trillion by July 2026. And I'm like, well, hold up, guys. Don't be giving expectations just yet. Start talking with everyone, look at the book, see what you can see, and see where you can cut. And don't give us hard figures right now. Don't say percentages or anything. Just say you'll look into it and see what's going on. No, they're saying $2 trillion. We spend about $6 trillion a year. $6 trillion, then 6.75 just this last year. So for you to cut $2 trillion, that's about 30%, So, but definitely have high hopes for these guys. And the Trump cabinet, it's been filled with so many billionaires. If people had a problem with it, they wouldn't have voted for Trump. But these billionaires are business people, and they definitely, it's a big difference from what we have, because in business, you have to make money. You have to have investors, get money, time, resources, and it doesn't always work out for you. And government's different, though. You take money from the taxpayers, and actually it's legal for you just to, we all raise our hand, we're going to take more from them. That's not business. That's just how the government operates differently from business. And of course, businesses are more efficient than government. And we're going to have that here, and hopefully very, very soon. We have, but there's some liberals that didn't change, and some of course, like The View. The View still, they still have the Trump derangement syndrome going on, and but people have changed their opinion. They had a couple of Democrats on lately, and they didn't have such a well receiving because they had Senator Fetterman from Pennsylvania. And they were trying to speak on him and trying to get him to speak bad about Trump, and they couldn't. He didn't fall for the bait. He was, Fetterman was speaking on the aspect that we definitely the Justice Department weaponized against their political opponents, and that's wrong. We shouldn't have done that. He's saying this now conveniently after the election. He never said this any time before what happened. I know we all know what happened. He's not going to do that during the election, especially if Biden wins, what's going to happen? There's going to be repercussions. But he's saying that now because Trump won. Oh, no, this is the right thing to do. This is the right thing to say. And I don't care if I catch any arrows. What arrows are you going to catch? The election's over with. You should have said this from day one. You didn't. Same thing when they tried to take Trump off the ballot. You started off with Oregon and Washington State. They're trying to get Trump off the ballot because they feel like he should have been convicted, even though he wasn't convicted for January 6th. So they started, protesting, saying that, they're going to keep him off the ballot. And then more and more people, more and more states, were agreeing with that. And we had I think it was up to 14 states said that they were not going to have Trump on their ballot. And what happened? History happened. History happened that the media, the legacy media is not going to tell you. Not even Fox News. I don't know why they didn't, ran with this. They voted 9-0. 9-0. That means 4 liberal judges who has studied the law for their entire lives. They're dedicated to this craft, and they're definitely Democrat. They were in favor of Donald Trump to keep him on the ballot. I mean, a lot of things happen in this election. I mean, the history books, they're going to write it down. It's going to be such an historic moment for us. But the only other time this ever happened was in Abraham Lincoln's time when they tried to get him off the ballot because he was trying to do what he did, being the first Republican president. And lo and behold, Democrats doing the same old tricks, trying to get Trump off the ballot. You would think, okay, the media was there to have to be a check and balance for the Democratic Party. You guys trying to get, Trump off the ballot. Y'all wrong. You're going out of control. Y'all need to bring it back. None of that happened. None of that. What happened right after that? Right after that, they shut the state of New York sued Trump for $400 million dollars, saying that they feel like he was, trying to fleece some money from realtors. It's like, okay, he said his building is worth this much, and but it's really worth this much. Okay, he's saying a price, and then if they bid on a price and he counters it or accepts it, it's on him. It's how real estate's done. And you're saying that there was a victim? Oh, we feel like he's a victim. The so-called victim said that they would deal with him again. So they're being fleeced and they're going to deal with Trump again? What kind of victims do we have here? Oh, we have the liberal party is what we have. So they drag him into court, and thank goodness you got to see his son graduate high school. Thank goodness. But what happened? They drag him to court for that. They come up with these 34 counts of felony charges. It's just total BS, because in law, when you have all these charges on a person, you normally state what the largest charge is, because, you're not going to say every single charge, but you say the most gripping one, the one with the largest sentence. The one with the largest sentence is a bookkeeping campaign infraction. They're saying that he paid Stormy Daniels with campaign funds. Do you know this guy's a billionaire, right? He doesn't need campaign funds to pay off for the non-disclosure agreement with Stormy Daniels. He doesn't need that money. And plus, the state of New York can't do this because that happened over 7 years ago, and the statutory laws have been expired. But no. Lo and behold, the DA brings it up, the judge doesn't dismiss it, and we have the circus in town. Now, of course, liberals are going to continue to say the entire time, oh no, a felon, thinking that's going to change people's minds. It's not. It didn't. Get over it, okay? And it's just, Biden should pardon Trump before he gets, and actually technically he can't pardon him because he wasn't sentenced yet. Oh yeah, Trump's such a danger to society. He's found guilty by his peers, right? Okay, where's the sentencing going to happen? It was supposed to happen in September. They pushed it back. They thought that, Trump's going to quit after that or something like that? Trump said, no, take me to Rikers. Let's go. He'll do the election in there. Come on. Trump knows what time it is. Y'all going to put him in a yellow jumpsuit? You think Trump's scared? Come on. Where's the Secret Service going to be? He's not worried about it. Where are y'all going to put me? Okay. Where's the cameras going to be? Right there. Okay. So I make sure to know where to wave. Come on, man. Trump's such a gangster, man. In a good way, in the sense that he doesn't care what you guys think. And you're not going to make him do what he doesn't want to do. That's why you got to talk turkey with Trump. And you know what? It's so easy to deal with Trump. All you have to do is not have ego yourself and just give Trump compliments. He loves compliments, and he won't do what you want. He'll definitely do what the best for our country. But Trump's a nice guy. The guy, he's such a nice guy, but people always have this, mean monster type villain that they created, the media's created for 8 years now. And they're going to continue to do it. And that's why, after Trump's gone, I don't know what we're going to do. We're going to go back to regular politics. But he's still here. We have 4 more years, and definitely he's going to do a lot of good here for this country. What do we have next here? And of course the latest as far as news, Daniel Penny was found not guilty. He was facing manslaughter in the second degree, which gives up to 15 years in state prison. He was facing criminal negligent homicide, which gives up to 4 years in state prison. And on Friday, the jury, they couldn't come to a consensus. They were asking questions, and they went to the judge and said, "Look, Judge, we can't come up with anything here with this." So the judge asked some questions, and what did he do? The judge dismissed the manslaughter charge. Now, some people will be like, "Oh, yeah, that's great. Take off. He's not going to do 15 years. He's going to do 4 years." If that were the case, Judge, you would have not tried this case. That's number one. And number two, if that's the case, let them vote on it and declare a mistrial. That's what you're supposed to do. But no, this judge improperly dismissed that charge because you're not supposed to do it the way he did it. It was on grounds for appeal anyway, if they were to try to convict him. And then he tried to, he did the same thing, which as far as with Trump, when Trump got convicted. You have a set of jurors that were conflicted on what Trump was guilty, quote unquote, guilty of or not guilty of, and they couldn't agree on what he was guilty of or not guilty of. So he made it like, okay, if you think he's guilty of this but not this, that's fine. You can still say guilty. If you think he's guilty of this and not this, that's fine. He's still guilty, which was totally improper grounds of appeal and actually removal for him. So that judge needs to watch out. But so what happened as far as with this jury, they kept on, they were asking questions like, would a reasonable person do this? And it was taking them hours to deliberate, like, would a reasonable person do this? If he's a threat to subway riders, would you, jump on his back and put him in a headlock? Would a reasonable person do this? They kept on trying to psych themselves out, saying that, look, this person is a danger. He had a warrant for his arrest for assaulting a woman, and he's threatening people to give him food and water. Now, the liberal media won't tell you that. They'll have amnesia when it comes to say, look, this man had a warrant for his arrest that day. He knows it. And what happened? Daniel Penny does what he does, and then was tried in New York for this. He was not guilty for it. I'm glad it's over with, but this man had to go through this for a year and a half. And New York City, watch out. When this happens again, because this is going to happen again, it happens all the time. We're talking about New York City, you have millions of people on top of each other. You think there's going to be another Daniel Penny trying to save people, trying to restrain the threat that's happening? No. Hey, look for a cop. Oh, good luck. Hey, look, this person's getting assaulted. I'm not the one. No. I don't want this person to die on me and I get charged by it. And this is happening in liberal cities. It's not only in New York City. When you start, making the perpetrators a victim, so the person who's doing the Good Samaritan is getting smeared, fine. This Good Samaritan will just turn the other cheek, turn a blind eye, turn a deaf ear. Is that what we want? We have dangerous people out there. But that's what the Liberal Party wants. That's what they're trying to go for. And lo and behold, lastly, we have here President-elect Donald Trump was selected for Person of the Year by Time Magazine. It used to be called Man of the Year, but Person of the Year. This is the second time around he's been selected. And, of course, not everyone's happy with it. The View, of course, saying things like, why is he saying these things? He's a liar. He can't deliver on more than half of these things he has. The man's not even sworn in yet. These ladies are still harping on it. Oh, Trump doesn't even buy groceries. What does he know about that? Sonny, look, now there's a problem with, as far as inflation. You said there wasn't a problem with inflation. We had the best economy with Biden. Remember that time? And now there's a problem with inflation. Now Trump can't deal with the issues and with the problems that this country has just because he doesn't buy groceries. Come on. Get out of my face with that. But this is the end of the podcast, guys. Go ahead, share with it. Tell your friends. Share, subscribe, give it a like, and catch the rest of my videos here on YouTube. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Guys, if you made it to the end of this video, subscribe. If you're entertained, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. You're definitely going to do me a favor. I would appreciate it very much. I'm going to give you more videos. Isn't that what you want, to be entertained? Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I'll see you guys in the next one.